很久以前，它是印第安人的土地；400年前，它是荷兰人的一道墙；200年前，它是梧桐树下的金融种子；100年前，它塑造了美国的崛起。今天，它是一张洒向世界的金融之网。这张网强大与脆弱，光明又黑暗。这张网既能让经济加速，又能让经济窒息。它就是华尔街。
This is a question that has been asked ever since human beings have walked the face of the earth. Why do bad things happen? God is eternally good and wants good things, and He created the world for good. Why do bad things happen?
Wall Street to a lot of people means that that's where the wealth of the country is, that that's where the financial center. But after this financial crisis, so many of the firms no longer exist. So it's really just a straight name.
2008年的金融危机，华尔街已经把世界的经济变得伤痕累累。然而，只要金融业存在，这就不是第一次，也不会是最后一次。苏西是美国公共广播电视台的新闻主播。2008年，华尔街金融危机爆发的时候，他正在纽交所的直播间进行报道。
For a long time, there were many economists who were saying we're in a recession as early as January of 2008. And no one wanted to say it's a recession. It took a long, long time for the Federal Reserve and other policymakers to finally use what we call the R word to say it's a recession. The next thing that happened was that it was a financial crisis, and it wasn't just a normal economic downturn.
Hi, it's Susie. Just wanted to make sure you guys can hear me.
It was, everything went from kind of a slow day to speeding up at 100 miles an hour. But as journalists, we enjoy the excitement of covering the story. But for the sake of the country, we knew that this was going to be a serious problem and it was going to be an ongoing financial crisis.
Now we're at 50, now we're at 20, now we're at 10, now we're at 0, and the whole way down.
That was a huge company to fail. It had been around for more than 100 years, and suddenly Lehman Brothers is gone. And that was a real shock.
雷曼兄弟公司曾是美国的第4大投资银行。2008年，受到次贷危机的影响，公司股票1周内暴跌77%，公司市值从112亿美元大幅缩水至25亿美元。如果继续失去市场信心，这家公司将飞速地滑向金融悬崖。
I believe that these decisions and actions were both prudent and appropriate. I never sold my shares because I believed in this company.
Executives would always say, don't worry about it, we've been through this before, Lehman was through this in 98, we'll be fine. And we trusted them because, why wouldn't we have?
这是一家成立于1850年的公司，曾经历过美国经济100年来的起伏，平安度过历次危机，被称为华尔街的不死鸟。 2008年9月的一个周末，投资者的撤离让雷曼奄奄一息，公司等待着最后的救赎，来自政府的援助。
Whenever anybody got in trouble on Wall Street, they would call up the central bank and say, "Save me, save me."
They made many mistakes, though, so some of them have no one to blame but themselves.
I got no severance, no golden parachute. Lehman Brothers got caught in this financial tsunami.
Government can't go in and save everybody. These were people that made many mistakes.
Nobody expected the government to turn them down. They thought, well, when it comes right down to the last minute, and they didn't.
2008年9月15日，当最后的一线希望破灭后，雷曼破产了。他158年的生命宣告结束。
Since we were going into bankruptcy, that the company was shutting down, so we didn't even know if we'd be let into the building the next day. I remember Sunday night, it was like from the managing directors to the analysts who just started, everyone was putting what they had in these big boxes and carrying them out of the building. Any sort of thing they could do to help, and there was really nothing.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all had an enjoyable weekend. But the American people can remain confident in the soundness and the resilience of our financial system.
Welcome back. That statement certainly true in the case of Lehman Brothers, shares of which have been down as much as 18%. It's a tough tape now.
而鲍尔森所描述的稳固的金融体系已经不复存在。第二天，道琼斯指数自开市就下跌了数百点，美国金融市场崩溃了。
雷曼倒闭，它使这个危机瞬间变成一片市场的恐慌。
This is serious. This is a crisis. When even the most experienced, veteran, talented traders and investors are scared and panicked, that really says something.
雷曼破产后，有多家华尔街重量级金融机构陷入破产和被收购的窘境，美国陷入了100年一遇的金融危机中。
We knew there was going to be a huge amount of layoffs. We knew there was going to be a huge problem in the industry. It was already tough to find another job. So we started thinking about, what our passions are, what the opportunities are. I started calling friends, family. What are the next steps? What should I do?
As a result, our unemployment insurance system has been stretched to the breaking point, frankly. Sometimes they would shed large numbers of workers all at once, 100, 200, 300, but the more typical case was every week they'd let go of 25, 50, and that would continue for weeks and weeks. African American male unemployment in New York City is well over 20%. So this is very much at the highest levels, certainly in most of our lifetimes. So we're sort of unfortunately setting records as we speak.
这场起于华尔街的风暴，接下来将会刮向哪里？会持续多久？会带来怎样的影响？人们无从知道答案。
It was frightening because California hasn't been through something this bad since the Great Depression. The worst part of it is probably not knowing where the bottom is. Every time we looked at the numbers, they seemed to get worse.
加利福尼亚州位于美国西部，与美国东海岸的纽约有4000多公里的距离。金融危机爆发后不到1个月的时间，加州就受到了风暴的冲击。加州是美国经济总量最大的一个州，它的国民生产总值超过世界上许多的国家。加州天然的地理环境造就了发达的农业，好莱坞和硅谷也都来自这里。同时，它还有一位明星州长阿诺德·施瓦辛格。2009年，加州面临着危机的考验，政府预算赤字达到263亿美元，几乎濒临破产。
I came in on the first day of the Schwarzenegger administration. We all worked together to get through the tough times. It was really tough. Is that when the economy turns down, all of our tax revenues go down, and many of our people now go from being employed to needing help from government.
And so the two things really hit us hard. Some other states have talked to us and said, you can't fail because if you fail, we all go down. I think it had to be done, and we couldn't fail.
Wall Street became famous because it was always blamed for the financial problems the country had. In the long run, Wall Street became known as a place where good things did not happen. It's the side of America that we're ambivalent about in this country. We recognize that it creates great wealth, and it also creates great catastrophes. It has done so in the past.
2008年3月，投资银行贝尔斯登被摩根大通以2.4亿美元低价收购，被媒体称为金融危机的第一滴血。7月，美国两大房贷融资机构房利美和房地美陷入危局。9月，雷曼兄弟宣布申请破产保护。投资银行美林被美国银行以440亿美元收购。美国政府出资850亿美元救助美国国际集团。投资银行高盛和摩根斯坦利转为银行控股公司。10月，冰岛濒临国家破产，金融危机逐渐扩散至整个欧洲，又殃及到整个世界。金融危机爆发后，从个人到机构，从华尔街到整个世界，都在询问原因，都在质问谁该对此负责。
Cab driver asked why I worked, and I said, "Oh, I used to work at Lehman Brothers. Now I'm unemployed." And he started yelling at me, like I'm some sort of bad guy. So, "Oh, you bastard! And you stole all this from me." And I was, it was kind of. I didn't even know what to think. I said, "I'm not the bad guy. I didn't do anything wrong."
A great many things going on. One of the things I loved was people say, "Who is responsible for this?" And you would think they would find one person who was responsible, or 5 people, or 10 people that were responsible. The truth is, everybody played a role. Everybody.
查理是美国一家大型咨询公司的投资顾问。作为一个投资人，如何学会从危机中汲取教训，也许比指责更为实际。在50年的职业生涯中，他经历过很多次危机，而在他记忆最深处的，却源于他童年的大萧条时代。
My father was a student at Yale, and his father had a nice business in Iowa, middle of the United States, and he had a very high level of confidence that he would go back to Iowa and work with his father in his father's company. By the end of a year, it was a factory manufacturing tractors. There were no orders for tractors. And my father was the last person working in the factory, sweeping up and cleaning out, and then he went elsewhere to work. So he experienced directly the impact.
查理出生在20世纪30年代，和当时的几百万美国孩子一样，他们是危机中成长的一代人。那是美国历史上最严重的一次经济衰退，它持续了将近10年。就是在那个年代，美国历史上第一次出现了这样的情形：申请离开美国的公民总数超过了其他国家想移民美国的人口总数。也就是在那个时代，诞生了一个描绘经济社会的词汇——萧条。
There was obviously sort of excessive speculation in the country in the late 1920s. And part of it was due to the fact that money was pretty cheap. People got sort of enamored of Wall Street. They thought they could get rich quick by buying a stock and having it go up 50 or 100% in a short time. And so that drew a lot of money in. And this is a characteristic of all crises. I mean, that's why they keep on happening. We get interested in speculating.
今天的人们总是把80年前的那次危机和2008年做比较，虽然相隔了80年，但从历史中可以看到今天的影子。1929年， 持续了多年的经济繁荣结束于一个普通的秋天。这是有记录以来最大的一次股市崩盘。市场的过度狂热往往是危机爆发前的信号。在1929年，人们宁可借钱也要在股市中碰运气，而美联储在很长的时间里一直降低借款利率，让人们很容易得到银行贷款进行股市投机。那一年，每1亿美元的贷款就有40美分投入股市。
Shoeshine boys were giving stock tips. Everybody was investing in the market. It was wild. It was like a wild party. And no one is interested in the teetotaler who's saying, you know, it's time to turn off the lights and go home.
作家凯瑟琳出生在一个银行世家，她的家族在20世纪初从德国来到美国。家族里最出色的银行家是他的曾祖父保罗·沃伯格。他在1929年的经历让凯瑟琳对这位从未见过面的曾祖父产生了好奇。保罗看到了股市中过度的投机和泡沫，被人们称为危机的预言家。
In March of 1929, Paul Warburg predicted the scope and severity of the looming crisis, and he warned in a speech to Congress, if orgies of unrestrained speculation are permitted to spread too far, the ultimate collapse is certain not only to affect the speculators themselves, but also to bring about a general depression involving the entire country.
但此时的美国已经没法停下脚步。4个月内，60家新公司在纽交所上市，为股市注入超过1亿元的股份。一轮更大的泡沫满足着投资者的热情。没有人会相信，持续了多年的经济繁荣将会以灾难的方式结束。
How would you feel if you saw a train about to crash and you told people, you know, terrible things are about to happen, and everyone said, I don't see that, don't worry about it. People talk about him today as Cassandra, because Cassandra not only could foretell the future, but nobody believed her. I think he felt responsible and burdened by his lack of power, by his sense that he had done all he could do and it wasn't enough. It didn't save the situation.
1929年10月24日，股市以毫无预警的方式崩溃了，股价1天之内下跌了1/3。有11个人在这一天选择了跳楼自杀。人们后来用黑色星期四来命名这个灾难性的一天。黑色也代表着华尔街最恐惧的日子。
In 1929, one of the owners of the stockyard, when the stock market crashed, he lost all of his money. So depressed that he decided to end his life, and this is the area that he did it in by hanging himself, and he has been with us ever since.
This isn't just rich people getting less rich. This is people really being wiped out catastrophically, people losing everything.
You can't have a crisis unless it's unexpected. And as the prices come down, people say, oh, look, prices are coming down, and get more frightened and more surprised. And if it compounds and builds into something really quite strong, a little bit like typhoon, why do storms really have such an impact? Well, because they gather the momentum and they gather the strength, and then they go flashing in from the ocean to the land side.
危机爆发后，股民聚集到纽交所门口，恐惧的情绪在庞大的人群中蔓延。经济危机又间接引发了遍及整个资本主义世界的大萧条，5000万人失业，无数人流离失所，上千亿美元财富付诸东流，生产停滞。而曾经对危机做出预警的保罗·沃伯格，却同样遭到了人们的指责。
What did he know? How did he know it? He must have made it happen. You know, that he must have had a hand in it in some way. Or that it all went according to his plan, you know, which is ignorant. I think it broke his heart. My grandfather said to me, his father was a sad optimist, and in some ways, that's a burden.
1929年金融危机爆发后不久，保罗·沃伯格患上心绞痛去世，再也没有看到危机的离去。
Was a real missed opportunity, and I think he died knowing that.
People are so wonderfully the same. We don't quite learn the lessons we should learn. My mother died of cancer from smoking. You don't have to know more than we now know. We still have large numbers of people smoking. And if you ask them, well, don't you realize that you could die? Oh, I don't think that'll happen to me. That's who we are as human beings.
金融危机用它带来灾难的方式证明了它的存在。200多年来，没有人能够阻止危机的发生，人们只能寻求如何应对。
I don't have to report to any specific location every day at 7 o'clock, but there's a number of things I need to do at 12 o'clock at nighttime or 1 o'clock at nighttime. It's a really grand opportunity. It's really quite an adventure to be able to work on an international scale.
斯蒂芬曾经在华尔街一家投资银行工作。2008年，公司在金融危机中破产了。破产的第2天，斯蒂芬成为了纽约90万失业者中的一员。
Other folks look for jobs. For me, I started working on Greensill shoes the next day.
斯蒂芬新事业开始的地方是纽约的一家小型办公楼，低廉的租金吸引了很多小创业者。在金融危机失业率上升的时候，创业成为很多美国人开始新生活的尝试。
My vision is to help companies or build companies on my own that deliver value for a long time. We hope that in the next 5 years we'll be able to sell and give 1 million shoes. And if we can accomplish that goal, then I'd be very happy indeed.
Financial crises are not necessarily terrible. I think this is the time where companies, some companies may grow their businesses significantly, but I think this is the time to really perfect your business.
在金融危机中，个人可以努力，机构也可以努力，全社会的力量都可以努力。但是，仅仅依靠这些力量化解如此重大的危机是远远不够的。只有依靠国家的力量、政治的力量，寻找拯救的方法。
My interest is solely for the strength and the recovery of the U.S. economy. I believe if the credit markets are not functioning, that jobs will be lost, the unemployment rate will rise. I therefore think this is a precondition for a good, healthy recovery by our economy.
Okay, announced anything in terms of actually giving the money back? So maybe it's just like an encouraging message or something like that.
苏西作为美国公共广播电视台的主播，跟踪报道了美国政府危机后救市的每个环节。在他看来，这次危机中争议最大的一个措施是政府花了将近8000亿美元注资到那些陷入困境的金融机构中，这就等于每个美国公民要平摊2500美元的负担。在美国，动用纳税人的钱是有诸多限制的。历史上，税收是美国社会运行当中非常敏感的事情。美国人曾因为征收税收而发起了一场国家独立的战争，那一年是1775年，史称独立战争。当时的美国还是英国的殖民地，由于100年的发展，殖民地逐渐变得富有，而此时的英国开始将税收的压力转嫁给殖民地。在独立战争前的10几年时间里，相继出现了各种各样的印花税，北美殖民地的人愤怒了。某种程度来讲，是因为税收问题才诞生了这个国家。而2008年的这一次，用政府8000亿美元注资到金融机构， 再一次触动了美国人的神经。
Why is it the taxpayer have to spend $787 billion to bail out these companies? Why should we, the American taxpayer, have to pay this money? And it took a while to explain that if we don't, that some of these big financial firms will fail. And that's where that whole phrase came up, too big to fail. Is it important to have it, that companies are too big to fail? Should we let them fail? Should the American capitalism, free enterprise system let the successful companies survive and let the weak ones fail?
The way that things are structured in a lot of banks is it's capitalist if things go well. That is, if things go well, I make money from the use of my capital and my efforts. But it's socialistic if things go poorly. That is, if things go very poorly, I just walk away and the taxpayers are saddled with the cost.
Because this is not something that I ever wanted to ask for, but it's much better than the alternative. So what I do is I start off saying, I'm not only concerned, I'm angry by the things that got us here, okay? But the greatest protection for the American taxpayer, by far the greatest protection, is having this program work and having it be effective. Because the consequences, if it doesn't, are worse.
2008年危机爆发以来，美国共有近300家银行倒闭，政府投入了数万亿美元的资金来挽救破产的金融机构，重新启动几乎陷入停滞的金融业。这成为了美国在拯救2008年金融危机当中最大的动作。而在其他的政府机构也相继采取了各种措施。突然而来的危机迫使政府采取非常规的做法，这可能是危机中唯一的选择。
We had to cut many programs, reduce spending dramatically. We cut my pay 13.86%, and I'm not complaining, but we cut all the other state employees' pay the same. And the way we did that was with a 3-day-a-month furlough. That's tough. It's hard to operate some of these essential services when people take 3 Fridays a month off, but it's the only way we could get the pay scales down, and we had to get them down right away.
So we pursued additional resources from our federal government. We applied for a national emergency grant. National emergency grants are funds available for particular crisis situations in specific companies, or the way we were pursuing it, in the financial service sector. Because what we were seeing is large numbers of dislocations from many, many firms.
Flooding the markets with liquidity was really well done, and very bold decisions that were very new were taken in rapid sequence all over the place. So I think we ought to look back and say we were well served.
在危机中，政府应该扮演怎样的角色？如何制定应急措施和长久机制？在金融危机爆发后的2年时间里，从美国到整个世界都没有停止思考。今天的人们希望从历史中汲取拯救的经验和教训。80年前，美国正面临同样严峻的危机，它如何一步步走出萧条的泥潭？
It was really a devastation across the country and then across the world, the 1929. The economy, after Paul Warburg's lifetime, deteriorated even further and more rapidly in the intervening months, the last months of Hoover's presidency.
今天，很多人的观点认为，胡佛政府在经济衰退期平衡预算和紧缩开支的做法是悲剧性的错误。 美国的经济从1930年开始进入衰退，1/3的银行倒闭，股市的崩盘以及接下来所有的贫穷痛苦，被理所当然地算到总统胡佛头上。1929年，他在一开始的股市崩盘中反应乐观，他断言，这次股市崩盘对失业最严重的冲击，在未来60天内 即将消失。
In 1929, the president at the time, Herbert Hoover, said that the whole crisis would go away if people actually just worked their way out of their problems.
胡佛的乐观主义并不能阻止形势的恶化。到1931年的秋天，等待发放免费面包的漫长队伍，用硬纸板拼凑起来的贫民区，和在城市空旷地带靠非金属碎片搭建的房屋等，遍布美国各个城市。而胡佛似乎从未见过这些悲惨景象。
And I would say he was a free market type, that he thought that the government should do very little and let the markets work things out. And even when the stock market crashed, he thought this was sort of probably a good thing because people who had overspeculated needed to lose money.
胡佛的理念源于他所信奉的自由经济政策。这种理念认为，市场可以自我修复，政府应该给市场以足够的自由。而在华尔街的历史上，多数的危机都是这样过来的。
Financial markets in this country, essentially, if you draw the history between 1790 and 1933, had no regulation. Most of those crises, the banking system sort of righted its own ship, and society recovered.
胡佛信赖的自由市场，在当时却没有释放出修复的力量，大萧条仍在持续。人们在绝望中等待着新的总统。
He was an extraordinary man and one of the most extraordinary Americans in history.
罗斯福出生在纽约郊区一个叫海德公园的地方。从小，他生活在一个富裕的家庭。小时候，他的梦想是航海，希望未来成为一个优秀的舵手，乘风破浪，出海远航。当然，他永远没有实现航海家的梦想。但在他51岁那年，他成为了整个国家的领航者。1933年，他取代胡佛当选美国总统。罗斯福此时面对的是濒临崩溃的国家，传统的自由放任主义已经使资本主义危在旦夕。他能否带领美国这艘巨大的航船调转方向？
Franklin Roosevelt, who, by the force of his personality, not so much his policies, changed the mood of the country. His famous first inaugural address, "You have nothing to fear but fear itself. Stop being afraid."
罗斯福借助广播直接与美国人民对话，那是在1933年3月12日他上任的第8天。罗斯福对全国6000万听众发表了第一次炉边谈话。在人们最失落的时候，总统的声音出现在收音机的电波中。他认为，这个国家需要大胆而持续的实验，如果失败了，就坦白承认，再试另一个。人们纷纷给他写信，历任美国总统一周收到的信件不超过200封，而这次有50万人写信给罗斯福。罗斯福需要借助这种信赖实现他的计划，推行拯救危机的改革。
First, he closed all the country's banks, which we laughingly called a bank holiday. And then Roosevelt went on the radio and said, we're going to let a lot of the banks reopen now. And he also said, if a bank reopens, you can trust it. So that was a very good move on Roosevelt's part, because then the people who were very suspicious of the banks believed Roosevelt and put their money back in the banks.
临时的稳定措施只是起步，接下来他有更艰难的工作，规范金融市场。放任自由了1个多世纪的华尔街是自由市场的标志。这一次，政府开始强烈的干预市场，而最重的一笔就是从华尔街开始。后来，美国人将这一时期的做法称为罗斯福新政。
A new agency comes into existence, the Securities and Exchange Commission, which has the mandate under the Securities Act of 1933 to regulate Wall Street and other stock exchanges in the United States and to clean them up. And Roosevelt decides, I have exactly the man for that job.
第一届美国证监会主席是罗斯福提出的人选，他把目光对准了华尔街的投机商。约瑟夫·肯尼迪是美国第35任总统约翰·肯尼迪的父亲，在人们眼里，他喜欢操纵市场。然而，这次危机给他带来了极大的震撼。
He saw everything in danger. I saw Roosevelt as the only man who could make the difference. And I decided, I promised myself, that I would give half of what I had earned to protect the other half in safety for my family.
华尔街的投机商变身成为改革支持者。1934年，他接到了罗斯福的任命书。
But the SEC was new power because every time you write a letter, you're writing new law.
A lot of people were aghast. They thought this was putting the fox to be in charge of the hen house. You know, they thought that Joseph Kennedy was part of the problem, not part of the solution. But Roosevelt said, no, you just wait and see. And Kennedy, who was very, very smart man, he realized that his self-interest lay in being an effective chairman of the SEC. And he did know where the bodies were buried. He knew where all the dirty tricks were played because he'd been playing them himself. And so he was a very effective chairman of the SEC. It was a good idea to put the fox in charge of the hen house.
对华尔街各种伎俩非常熟悉的肯尼迪，制定了堵住漏洞的监管法规，这也让华尔街看到了罗斯福整顿市场的决心和政治智慧。罗斯福的改革在人们的怀疑声中艰难地推行，但最终改变了华尔街的面貌。
A lot of our modern securities market regulation and even banking regulations came up in the Great Depression of the 1930s under President Franklin Roosevelt. In fact, the regulations seemed to work pretty well for Wall Street because it renewed the confidence of the American people in the market institution, the banks and the securities markets.
美国的经济大萧条持续了将近10年，在危机中，罗斯福组建了一个为人民的福利负责的政府，他不惜任何代价推动宪法的修正，由此诞生了新的4大自由，其中免于匮乏的自由成为美国社会保障体系建立的精神内涵。从此，美国诞生了社会保障法，而一系列涉及社会保障与管制的法律永远地改变了美国的经济、政治和社会哲学。罗斯福也获得了总统连任，被人们看作是成功带领美国走出危机的领航者。而此时，罗斯福却陷入了个人危机。从年轻时，他便身患小儿麻痹症，他几乎对所有人隐瞒了病情。而就在所有人觉得他高大无比的时候，他无法站立。此后，他的生活再也没有摆脱轮椅，他也被称为坐在轮椅上转动世界的人。而今天的人们仍然记得他曾经说过的那句话：最大的恐惧就是恐惧本身。
These reforms represent the strongest consumer financial protections in history. Because of this law, the American people will never again be asked to foot the bill for Wall Street's mistakes. There will be no more tax-funded bailouts, period.
80年后，人们期待着新的监管法案能改变美国的金融体制，也警醒着从危机和伤痛中走来的华尔街。
So I think we want to be sure that we protect the creativity and the dynamics at the interior and the core of the financial markets. On the other hand, I think we want to protect the system from getting disrupted, and we want to protect individual people from being badly treated. And the reality is that a very, very complicated, fast-changing financial system with new instruments coming in and new players coming in and new things going on is a very delicate process.
We as human beings are fallible. We all make mistakes. None of us work perfectly. And sometimes those little things that may not be the right thing to do have consequences long term that we're not able to know at the time.
这座拥有350年历史的教堂，因为它的独特位置而目睹了美国金融市场200年来的发展轨迹，也伴随着几代华尔街人度过他们的喜怒哀乐。关于危机的历史就记载在教堂的年鉴里，但是今天没有人会再去翻阅。在这条崇尚财富的街道，只有危机再一次降临的时候，历史才会从纸上浮现出来。
Nobody likes to go through an economic downturn, whether you're an American or whether you're Chinese. There's this thing called generational imprinting, that when a generation goes through a severe economic crisis like this, that when good times come back, they tend to still play it safe.
当纽交所闭市后，人们离开了这个白天最热闹的地方。新闻主播苏西要一个人在这里面对镜头录制一天的商业新闻，告诉美国人今天的华尔街都发生了什么。无论带来的是好消息还是坏消息，苏西都要让自己微笑着面对镜头。
We've had crises in Wall Street roughly every 20 years. Apparently it takes about a generation for people to forget the lessons of the last crash. And so we have another one. We had one in 1792, 1819, 1837, 1857, 1873, 1893, 1907, and 1929. And then there was a hiatus for a while, then we had a crash in 1987, and then we had a crash in 2008. And so we seem to be back on the 20-year schedule there.
今天的华尔街，没有人知道下一次危机将何时到来，会从哪里开始。在危机不断上演的历史长河里，每个人、每个机构、每个国家，要想减少危机带来的伤害，唯一能做的，是在下一次危机到来之前，做好准备。
在大国的博弈中，金融充当怎样的角色？在资本市场的角逐中，国与国之间展开怎样的博弈？探寻一个国家的金融力量，寻找世界的金融格局。敬请收看《华尔街》第10集《资本之河》。